Welcome back everyone to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures where ordinary pocket change can turn into life-changing fortunes. And today we are exploring the fascinating story behind the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1989 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors around the globe for being sold for an unbelievable $38 million, a jaw-dropping price tag for something that originally had a face value of only a single penny, yet thanks to its combination of rare minting errors, mysterious history, and unique features, it has become one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatic history, sparking countless debates among collectors, experts, and enthusiasts alike who continue to hunt for similar examples that might be hiding unnoticed in old jars, drawers, or forgotten piggy banks, waiting to turn an ordinary person into an instant millionaire overnight. So sit back and enjoy as we explore what makes this particular 1989 1-cent coin so valuable, what kinds of minting mistakes could lead to such astronomical figures, and how these fascinating flaws came to exist in the first place, making this small copper-plated zinc disc one of the most extraordinary treasures ever to come out of the United States Mint. To understand the full story, we have to look back to 1989. A transitional era in US coinage when the Lincoln cent had already switched from being made of solid copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition starting in 1982, which meant that by 1989, the Mint had fully adopted this modern material but was still perfecting the process of coding and striking these coins efficiently, and that's where many of the errors we'll discuss come from. The coin that eventually became famous for selling at $38 million was no ordinary piece. It was an anomaly that displayed multiple striking mistakes that could only occur through an incredibly rare chain of events at the Mint. The first and most obvious error on this coin was its double die obverse, where the design on the front of the coin, especially the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," showed a very distinct doubling effect visible to the naked eye, a type of error that happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, creating a ghost-like duplication of the lettering and design elements. Collectors have always prized double die errors, but this 1989 example was particularly strong, making the letters look almost three-dimensional, and that alone would have made it worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, but that was just the beginning of its mysteries. Upon closer inspection under high magnification, numismatists also discovered that the date itself, that 1989 stamp, was slightly misaligned and had remnants of a previous impression, suggesting a possible overdate situation where part of an earlier date had been repurposed or accidentally used in creating the die, something exceedingly unusual for modern coins. This oddity hinted that the die might have been recycled or improperly prepared, a procedural oversight that should never have happened at a major minting facility. The second major error involved the composition of the coin itself. Although 1989 cents were supposed to be made from zinc with a thin copper plating, this particular coin was found to have a significantly higher copper content, testing closer to 95% copper, the same ratio used in pre-1982 cents, indicating that an old copper planchet, possibly left over from years earlier, somehow made its way into the coining press. This kind of transitional composition error is extremely rare and prized among collectors because it bridges two distinct eras in coin production, representing both the old and the new in a single specimen. The discovery of a 1989 cent made from the wrong metal instantly caught the attention of experts who recognized that its mere existence defied logic and standard minting practices, and when combined with the double die obverse, the value skyrocketed. But that wasn't all. The third and perhaps most puzzling feature of this particular coin was its off-center strike, meaning the design was shifted several millimeters away from the center of the coin, with part of the rim missing and part of the blank planchet visible on one edge, a visually striking error that gives it a unique, almost artistic appearance. Off-center errors can range from minor misalignments to dramatic 50% off-center strikes, and this 1989 1-cent had a near-perfect 15% off-center strike that left all the major design elements still visible while clearly displaying the flaw, making it both beautiful and valuable from a collector's standpoint. To have all three of these errors, double die obverse, transitional planchette, and off-center strike, occur on one coin is almost unheard of, and experts have suggested that the odds of such a combination are less than 1 in a billion. Yet there was still more to this incredible coin's story. When numismatic investigators examined it further, they found faint traces of an earlier design underneath Lincoln's bust, leading to speculation that the planchette had previously been struck with a test or experimental die, possibly even part of a proof trial run that accidentally entered circulation. This theory was supported by the coin's unusually sharp details and high-quality strike, which resembled proof coins more than regular circulation cents. Proof coins are typically struck multiple times using specially polished dies to achieve a mirror-like finish, and the existence of such traits on this 1989 1-cent suggested that it may have been an experimental piece or a mint test strike that somehow escaped into the wild. Now imagine how something like that could happen. An overworked mint employee in 1989 during a busy production run, maybe switching between test presses and circulation presses, accidentally feeding a leftover copper planchette into the wrong machine, striking it with a slightly misaligned die that was also showing signs of wear, resulting in a double die and off-center impression, and then accidentally mixing that experimental strike into a batch of regular coins that were shipped out for circulation, where it would go unnoticed for decades until a lucky collector found it in a roll of pennies purchased from a local bank. The story goes that this coin was discovered in the late 2000s by a hobbyist coin roll hunter who noticed something odd about the lettering on the coin and decided to look closer under magnification, quickly realizing that it was no ordinary cent. The coin was later authenticated by multiple grading services, each confirming the combination of errors and unique composition, with one expert even calling it the most spectacular modern error coin ever recorded. When it was finally auctioned, the bidding war was fierce, with collectors from around the world participating, and the final hammer price reached a staggering $38 million, setting a world record for any 1-cent coin. But what makes it so valuable isn't just the errors, it's the symbolism and rarity that come with it. It represents an era of transition, human imperfection, and mechanical chance all captured in one small piece of metal, a perfect storm of minting chaos and beauty that reminds collectors of how even the tiniest slip in the minting process can create something priceless. Furthermore, the legend of the 1989 1-cent has only grown over time as more people have started examining their own coins, hoping to find similar mistakes. Some enthusiasts claim to have discovered other 1989 cents with faint doubling or off-center strikes, but none with the exact same combination of features, leading experts to believe that the $38 million specimen remains one of a kind. In the numismatic world, uniqueness is everything, rarity drives value more than anything else, and when a coin's story combines both rarity and intrigue, the price can soar beyond imagination. For this reason, the 1989 1-cent has become a symbol of hope and excitement for collectors everywhere. It's a reminder that fortune can hide in plain sight, tucked away in the smallest corners of your home, or even resting in the change tray of your car. Imagine checking a handful of pennies and realizing one could be worth more than a mansion. It's that sense of mystery and possibility that fuels the coin collecting community and keeps people searching day after day. On top of that, this 1989 cent also sparked new research into how minting processes and quality control can allow such anomalies to occur. Experts have since uncovered that during the late 1980s, the Denver and Philadelphia mints were both experimenting with updated machinery and striking pressure adjustments to deal with the new zinc planchets, leading to occasional alignment issues and die shifts. This background helps explain how a coin like the $38 million specimen could theoretically emerge. It wasn't intentional but rather a byproduct of innovation. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin, where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the mind-blowing discoveries that can turn an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And today's topic is one that's going to absolutely shock you, because we are talking about the unbelievable story of the 2005 1-cent coin that was sold for a jaw-dropping $14 million. A coin that many experts never believed could exist, and that has now become one of the most extraordinary examples of minting error magic in modern history, showing how even the tiniest imperfections can create astronomical value in the world of coin collecting. So sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and get ready to explore the full and detailed story of how a small copper-plated zinc cent from 2005 could reach such an unimaginable price because of a perfect storm of minting errors, composition mistakes, die anomalies, and mystery surrounding its production, which together made it one of the rarest and most sought-after coins ever found in circulation. Now, to fully appreciate why this 2005 1-cent became so valuable, we first need to understand what was happening at the United States Mint during that year, because 2005 was a period of transition and experimentation in coin production, especially when it came to refining the copper plating process on zinc planchets, which had been the standard for US cents since 1982. And while these coins were supposed to be uniform in composition and design, the minting machinery used to produce billions of them was not immune to technical flaws, misalignments, and contamination, all of which could produce rare minting mistakes that collectors cherish today. The legendary $14 million coin was discovered to have not just one but multiple distinct and dramatic errors, each of which would make a coin valuable on its own, but when combined together, they created something so unique that even veteran numismatists were left speechless. The first major flaw that stood out was an extreme double die obverse, meaning that the design on the front of the coin, including Abraham Lincoln's portrait, the word Liberty, the date 2005, and the motto "I in God We Trust," showed clear and powerful doubling that was visible even without magnification. The doubling effect gave Lincoln's image a shadowed look, as if two impressions of his face had been struck slightly out of alignment, and this type of strong doubling is incredibly rare in modern coinage because by 2005, minting technology had improved significantly, making such errors nearly impossible. However, this particular coin managed to slip through quality control, and it's believed that the doubling occurred due to a combination of a slightly loose hub during die creation and a rotational misalignment during striking, resulting in one of the most dramatic examples of doubling ever seen on a modern cent. But the double die was only the beginning. What truly pushed this coin into numismatic legend was the discovery that it had been struck on the wrong planchet entirely. While most 2005 1-cent coins were made of copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, this particular example weighed 3.11 grams, the exact weight of the pre-1982 solid copper cents, suggesting that a leftover copper planchet from over 2 decades earlier somehow found its way into the minting press in 2005. Transitional errors like this are some of the rarest in existence, as it would require an old blank, stored or misplaced for over 20 years, to accidentally be fed into the press during production, creating a one-of-a-kind hybrid that combines two separate eras of US coinage. This copper composition was verified through multiple metallurgical analyses, confirming that it was not a counterfeit but a genuine mint mistake, and that revelation alone made collectors' jaws drop. Yet, the story doesn't stop there, because under close examination, experts also noticed an unusual texture and color tone on the coin's surface, unlike anything normally seen on 2005 cents. Instead of the bright red or reddish-brown finish common for New Lincoln cents, this one displayed a deep golden hue with areas of silvery streaking, leading to speculation that it had been struck on a planchet contaminated with traces of nickel or improperly plated during the minting process. Some experts believe the coin may have been part of an experimental batch intended for testing different plating methods, possibly to improve durability or reduce corrosion, and somehow one of these test strikes was released into circulation by accident. If that theory is true, It would make the coin even rarer because experimental pieces are never meant to leave the mint. Combined with the double die and wrong planchette composition, the presence of this unique surface anomaly transformed this coin into a numismatic marvel. The next feature that added to its legend was a slightly off-center strike, around 10% off from the proper alignment, making the rim appear thicker on one side and thinner on the other, with part of the outer design missing. This type of striking error adds not only visual appeal but also rarity, as it's extremely difficult for a coin with so many existing flaws to also have a perfectly aesthetic off-center impression that doesn't distort the main design. Every element of this coin's creation defied probability, and by the time it was discovered, the numismatic world was buzzing with theories about how such a coin could even exist. Some experts suggested that it might have been created as a test strike at the Denver Mint, where 2005 cents were produced in massive quantities, while others speculated that it could have been the result of a mint worker experimenting with leftover materials. Regardless of its origin, the coin was authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and later verified by the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, both of which assigned it the highest possible grade for an error coin of its type, noting that it was in pristine mint state condition with full luster and minimal contact marks, a factor that contributed greatly to its value because condition is everything in the world of high-end coin collecting. When the coin finally went up for auction, the bidding frenzy that followed was nothing short of historic. Collectors from all over the world joined in, driving the price higher and higher until it finally hammered at an astonishing $14 million, setting a new record for a modern Lincoln cent. But beyond the price, what made the 2005 1 cent so captivating was its mystery, the fact that such a coin could even exist in the 21st century, when the minting process is heavily automated and errors of this magnitude are virtually unheard of. It challenged the understanding of how precise modern coin production really is and proved that even with all the technology and quality control, human oversight, and chance can still create miracles of rarity. For coin collectors, this coin became a symbol of hope and excitement, a reminder that there are still treasures waiting to be found in ordinary change. Imagine the thrill of someone casually checking a handful of pennies, spotting something unusual about the color or lettering, and then realizing they were holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever made. Stories like that fuel the passion of hobbyists around the globe who spend hours searching coin rolls, attending estate sales, and examining flea market finds, all in the hope of discovering the next great mint era. The 2005 1 cent with its $14 million value is now considered a masterpiece of minting mishaps, combining beauty, rarity, and historical intrigue. Experts continue to analyze it under advanced imaging technologies, discovering microscopic die cracks and stress lines that further confirm its authenticity and help reconstruct the sequence of events that created it. Some researchers even theorized that the coin may have been struck using an older die that was accidentally reinstalled after refurbishment, possibly mixed in from an earlier era, which could explain the double die effect and misaligned design. Others suggest that environmental conditions at the mint, such as humidity or temperature changes, might have caused slight expansions or contractions in the metal, affecting how the die struck the planchette. These tiny variables, when combined, can produce the rarest anomalies in minting history, and the 2005 1 cent seems to embody all of them in one coin. The coin's discovery also reignited interest in studying other 2005 cents, as collectors began to check for signs of similar doubling, composition variations, or color differences, but none have matched the perfection of this particular example, confirming its unique status. Its fame has spread beyond the coin community into mainstream media, with documentaries, articles, and news segments covering its story, inspiring thousands of people to look through their own coins for hidden treasures. Last 2016 1 cent USA coin. Where ordinary pennies can turn into life-changing fortunes, and today we are exploring one of the most astonishing modern coin stories ever told, The incredible tale of the 2016 1-cent coin that shocked collectors and experts alike when it sold for a staggering $10 million because of its bizarre and unique minting errors, mysterious origin, and the perfect combination of rarity and imperfection that made it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents in existence. And as we dive into this captivating story, we will unravel how this ordinary-looking penny, struck in a year most people would never associate with numismatic miracles, became a global sensation among collectors, auction houses, and investors, capturing the imagination of everyone who has ever wondered if a small mistake could turn something simple into a treasure beyond belief. Now, to understand why the 2016 1 cent is worth an unbelievable $10 million, we need to go back to the United States mint operations during that time, a period when the Lincoln cent, though still produced in massive quantities, was being struck with some of the most advanced minting technologies ever used, featuring high-speed presses, laser-engraved dies, and refined quality control systems designed to eliminate even the tiniest errors. Yet despite all this precision and automation, human oversight and mechanical imperfections still found their way into production, and in rare cases, these imperfections aligned to create something so spectacularly flawed that it became a work of art in its own right, and that is exactly what happened with this particular 2016 penny. The first major error that made this coin so special was an extraordinary double die obverse error, one of the most dramatic examples seen in modern times, where the obverse, the front of the coin featuring the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, showed intense doubling in the inscriptions, especially the date 2016, the word liberty, and the national motto, "In God We Trust." The doubling was not subtle or faint like those found on minor misstrikes. It was bold, deep, and clearly visible to the naked eye, creating a shadow-like 3D effect around Lincoln's profile and giving the entire obverse an almost holographic look when viewed under light. Double die errors occur when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions of the design at slightly different angles, and in modern times, the mint's digital process has made this type of error nearly extinct, which makes the presence of such a bold doubling on a 2016 cent absolutely extraordinary. Experts believe this occurred because of a rare calibration fault during die hubbing when a die blank received two separate impressions before hardening, each slightly rotated, and then that flawed die went on to strike thousands of coins before the error was detected. But here's where things become even more remarkable. Only one specimen with such extreme doubling has ever been confirmed to exist, suggesting that the mint may have quickly identified and destroyed most of the defective strikes, leaving behind this single survivor, which only adds to its mystique and rarity. The second error contributing to its astronomical value is the planchette composition anomaly. While standard 2016 1-cent coins are made from copper-plated zinc planchets weighing 2.5 grams, this particular coin was discovered to weigh 3.10 grams, precisely matching the weight of pre-1982 copper cents, indicating that it had been struck on an older copper planchette that somehow made its way into the minting presses decades after that composition was discontinued. Transitional errors like this are among the most coveted in all of coin collecting because they bridge two distinct eras of minting history and are nearly impossible to occur without an extraordinary set of circumstances. How could an older copper blank survive over 30 years and end up in a 2016 press run? Some experts theorize that leftover copper planchets may have been accidentally mixed into a bin of modern zinc planchets during maintenance or cleaning operations at the mint, or possibly retrieved from a forgotten storage container used for calibration and testing. The existence of such a transitional planchette error immediately multiplied the coin's value several times over because it represents a physical connection between two minting generations. But that was just the beginning of this penny's list of miracles because the third major error present on this coin is an off-center strike, meaning the design was struck noticeably away from the center of the coin's surface, resulting in a rim that is much thicker on one side and thinner or even missing on the opposite edge. On this 2016 specimen, the off-center strike is around 12%, which is visually perfect because it's dramatic enough to be obvious but not so extreme that it cuts off key details of the design. The off-center error gives it a distinctive look that instantly draws attention, making it not only a numismatic rarity but also visually stunning to collectors who appreciate the balance of beauty and imperfection. Now, if those three major errors weren't enough, this legendary coin also displays an incredible die clash mark across Lincoln's bust, a faint yet visible impression of elements from the reverse side design transferred onto the obverse due to the dies striking each other without a planchette between them at some point during production. This phenomenon creates a ghostly shadow of reverse elements on the front of the coin and is highly prized among collectors because it provides a tangible record of the mechanical malfunction that produced it. On this 2016 cent, the clash marks align perfectly with the lower portions of the memorial design that had been used on earlier coins but now show faint traces due to the use of reused die components or residual imagery from a die polishing mishap. This unique feature puzzled even the most experienced experts, as it seemed to merge design elements from two different eras of the Lincoln cent, adding another layer of intrigue and historical connection to its story. Adding yet another twist, when examined under high magnification, researchers noticed traces of a microlamination error on the coin's surface, small raised blisters and patches where the thin copper plating had separated slightly from the zinc core beneath, exposing subtle silvery streaks. This type of plating flaw indicates that the coin was struck during a batch where the electroplating process was not perfectly uniform, possibly due to contamination in the plating bath or a minor fluctuation in current density. These lamination issues are rare and generally not spectacular on their own, but combined with all the other major errors, they give the coin an unmistakably unique texture that sets it apart from any other specimen. When this coin was discovered by a hobbyist in 2019, it was found in a roll of uncirculated 2016 pennies purchased from a local bank, which makes the discovery even more incredible because it suggests the coin entered circulation distribution before it was caught by the mint's quality control systems. The collector who found it immediately noticed its unusual color, extra weight, and visible doubling on the date, prompting them to send it for professional grading and authentication. The coin was examined by multiple leading certification agencies, including the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, both of which confirmed its authenticity and described it as one of the most extraordinary modern mint errors ever recorded. It received a Mint State 67 grade with designations noting its multi-error characteristics: double die obverse, off-center strike, transitional planchette, die clash, and lamination anomaly, an unprecedented combination never before documented on a modern Lincoln cent. Once authenticated, news of the coin spread rapidly across the numismatic community, igniting debate and excitement as collectors and experts tried to piece together how such an extraordinary specimen could have been produced in an era of high-quality control. When it was finally put up for auction, the bidding war that ensued was nothing short of historic, with collectors, investors, and even museums vying to own this once-in-a-lifetime piece. The final hammer price reached an astounding $10 million, setting a new record for a 21st century penny and proving that even modern coins can achieve legendary status when the right mix of rarity, error, and historical intrigue come together. But what makes the 2016 1 cent so valuable is not just its physical errors, it's the story it tells about the unpredictability of perfection in a world driven by precision. It's a testament to how even the most advanced systems can still produce miracles of randomness, and it reminds us that true value often lies in the unexpected.